what we're going to be looking at is more opinions on Super Smash Bros. So this is the original tweet. We listen and we don't judge. Smash Ultimate Edition. So basically that just means that like 85 bajillion McMillion people will quote retweet and just give their opinions, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to start off with one of my own opinions is we listen and we don't judge. It's just an off the cuff one, but if you are watching this YouTube video, I feel like you should subscribe to the channel because clearly you are interested in this kind of content and you watch all the time. And if you're not already subscribed, that makes you scum. First of all, shout out to Citadel. I think they're like the new sponsor. Give them a follow on Twitter. They're doing good stuff. They're trying to, it looks like they're trying to make content from what I've seen, but it seems like they've got their heart in the right place. So if you support Smash and you know all that good stuff, go ahead and give them a subscription or a follow, whatever, same thing. Scum. Nobody would have a problem with Fire Emblem roster if they didn't exclusively add pro tags with swords. Imagine if the Pokemon reps were Pikachu, Pichu, Raichu, Plusle, Minin. Well, now we're talking about Pokemon.
Talking about practice.
This is the reality we unironically live in with Fire Emblem. Unfortunately, all of this Fire Emblem protagonists use swords, and if you're not adding a protagonist of some kind, then what the hell are you doing? I can't see them adding something that isn't just like a sword character because they don't have any non-sword protagonists. Actually, they could add like Hector for something, for example, but I more so am ashamed of the Fire Emblem game designers than I am of Nintendo for choosing to add those specific guys because they just need to get a little bit more creative. I do appreciate how like creative they try to get with some of the Fire Emblem characters. Like I think Byleth really sets up like a good future for more Fire Emblem inclusions. I really hope they trim down. Like, I don't want Martha and Lucina, just keep Martha in there. Keep Chrom as the only or Robin as the only, like, awakening rep. Stuff like that, you know what I mean? Like, take Chrom out, just keep Roy. He's already his own thing. They shouldn't even be Echoes in the first place. Ike, he's kind of just, he's the big sword guy, you know what I mean? They can kind of do without a lot of that stuff. I mean, people just are sick of fighting swords in general. The swords are boring to fight, so that's probably the real problem here. Honestly, the movesets are at their best when they're asking, how would this character fight, and not how many references can we make? Yeah. I agree with that. When we think of characters like how would this character fight? I mean, like Fox is a completely original moveset. So does Captain Falcon, Peach. Those are all like intuitive, cool, fun designs that they kind of just like spitballed on their own. And like Fox and Falcon, they're not complicated whatsoever. They were just like, let's make moves. And they made some great moves, but then they like put like Steve, that shit sucked. And then like Kazuya, and that shit sucked. And like Min, and that sucked. This guy is actually super turbo spinning. Joker has a really cool design, and they only did like only his specials are really like, this is Persona. And even then they weren't even like biblically accurate. Rebels Guard isn't a thing. You know what I mean? Tetrakarn and Makara Karn don't work like that. Ultimate was a fantastic game, beautiful game, a gaming cultural landmark that we will be remembered and cherished for decades. Please never make a game like this again. Like, as in, don't make another Smash game. I hope they make another Smash game. Are you kidding me? I assume they mean a game with everyone is here. Yeah, I'm really curious as to what route Smash is going to go next, which is like, people can't think of how a route where Smash is going to go, which is probably why a lot of people are like, they can't top Smash Ultimate, so why would they make another Smash game? And it's like, I don't think that's how that's gonna go. Casually, this is the best game in the series. Competitively, hell no. I disagree. Casually, I think Ultimate is one of the worst games in the series. It sucks, dude. The items are bad. There's so few items. The items are very uninteresting and very inconsistent as someone who's tried to do like item combos. World of Light is a meme. The single player content outside of like Melee had like break the targets, and you know 64 had board the platforms. The only thing we got was home run contest. Did you guys know that this game didn't release with home run contest? You guys know that? That's how bad casually this game is. I don't know. I think it's just a bad game casually. Maybe if you are a little baby drooling at a college campus and somebody whips it out and you are blasted drunk, yeah, maybe this is the best game ever. The next Smash game will also scratch that itch for you, you know what I mean? For a big crossover fighting game, Smash Bros, specifically after Brawl, never really capitalizes on true interactions between all these characters. You get crumbs in promotional materials, some special victory lines, and Palutena's guidance, but that's about it. I'm assuming he's talking about like the codex calls and stuff like that, and some character interactions, and like how like when you beat Fox as Falco, or Falco beats Fox, like you're off your game, Fox. When Falco beats Fox, like that stuff is cool. I actually really like that stuff. And I think it would be really cool if they did more of those like character interactions, but I feel like Nintendo as a brand has kind of strayed away from doing cool shit. and that is cool shit that they just don't do anymore, and it's a shame. Yeah, they can definitely do a little bit better with like having the characters actually interact with each other. MK Leo says Ganondorf is high tier. All right, we're just gonna go here and we're just going to report post. Yeah, no, I think it's civic integrity. This is just lying. Not having Squad Strike be playable online is the biggest fumble I've ever seen in a fighting game. I've legit never had more fun playing Smash than through that game mode. That is very true. You can't even do like any form of special Smash online. That is a turbo shame. They really dropped the ball on that one. I would love to, you know, actually be able to play Squad Strike. I would probably play that almost exclusively. I'm actually curious as to what your opinions are on this, and YouTube comments can hop in on this too. But imagine if like if there was like a leaderboard, kind of like there is for like MOBAs or shooters or just like fighting games in general. Ranks for specific characters, and then like maybe an overall GSP rank or something like that, like a roster GSP or whatever. You just rank. I think Ultimate tries to like go out of its way to like it feels so forced. They say that they don't want, you know, Ultimate to be a competitive game, I feel like. And then they turn around and start doing balance patches for characters, and then they start like, you know, allowing tournaments to happen, stuff like that. I don't know. So it just feels so wish-washy on what they like and what they dislike. Casual Smash hasn't been the same since they got rid of trophies or just things to unlock as well as these. That's what I was saying before. The items used to be so cool, dude. You got a rocket launcher, you just boop, 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 boop. That fan was hella broken. Yeah, but it was hilarious. This is someone from my region. Anyone thinking that Smash 6 is going to cut characters is dumb. What do you think sells more? Everyone is here or small balanced roster? This isn't Street Fighter. This is Smashy Bros. And little Timmy don't give about Falcon's dashback. He gives while playing Minecraft, Steve. You sound like Tweak. That's a very strongly worded opinion, DM. I think honestly, I do think it's like a reasonable like stance to take. Like, are they going to get away with not cutting any characters? Probably. You know what's going to happen is they're probably just going to like release with as many characters as they could possibly like confirm beforehand, and then just add more DLC and make up for the lack of characters that they can't bring back. That's what like Tweak says. Like 100 characters is the tagline for Smash, the next Smash game, blah, blah, blah. Oh, this must be rage bait. Ganondorf is more viable than Lucina. All that matters in this game is killing. If you're good at killing, you can make opponents scared. If you make opponents scared, you can force mistakes from them. If you can force mistakes from them, you can win. Neutral's a made-up concept. If you can take a stock, you can take a game. If you can take a game, you can take a set. If you can take a set, you can win the tournament. There's a lot going on in between those things, but sure, man, the concept is there. Like, the idea is there. If you main a low tier and spend every set camping and matchup checking people, you are way worse than any Steve Game Watcher Min player. Whoa, this guy a secret top player? Hello? This is a top player's burner account for sure. I mean, some people are just out here playing their favorite character, but yeah, there are also people out here that are playing me gunner or me sword fighter is more offensive in this way. You are just making shit take so long to just lose. You are like, this set is taking 30 minutes because you want to lose slow, and that sucks ass. But to be fair, all these other characters do it optimally. Like, I don't know, it's the same sandwich, just wrapped differently. They're both whack. I wouldn't mind a Smash Ultimate too. You know what, Riddles? Crazy enough, I'm at the point where I wouldn't mind it either. Oh, Zamba too. Oh, we're getting to the people I know. Smash Ultimate is the blueprint for how Smash should be. I agree. I think if they took what they had in mind for Ultimate and just refined it, just chiseled it down, change some stuff, add some mechanics, remove the more annoying tweak some numbers, I think the next Smash game has the potential to be GOAT. But will they do that, or will they just take the formula and just put it in a new engine and just mess everything up again? Because so far they're 3 for 3 on that. In Brawl, I feel like the idea was there, and then they were like, yeah, tripping and slow and everything's a balloon. And then Smash 4, they were like, rage is hilarious, everyone is pissed and kills at 25% now. And then Ultimate is just like, is Ultimate. Like, do I even need to talk about it? Smash Bros. Roster design is at its most interesting when it's having to fill itself with the Nintendo characters and not gaming's most iconic hype beasts. No. Do you know how many Nintendo characters are in this game versus how many hype beast characters there are? Think of this game as from a casual standpoint. If you are little Timmy out and about in the world, Steve fighting Super Mario is sick. Like, if you are my age and you are seeing this game for the first time, I'm looking, I don't know, you get the idea, bro. Just the crossover part is sick. Are you kidding me? That's like a large pulling point for so many people. Peanut. I refuse to believe that real game devs manufactured Kazuya and thought he was well designed, bro. Genuinely egregious character made by the devil himself. I hate Kazuya. Me and you both, Peanut. You know what's crazy? I still hold the opinion that I hate Kazuya more than I hate Steve. Genuinely, I think Kazuya is so annoying. I think most top players would agree at this point. Even Light, I have agree with that Kazuya is more annoying. But he also changes opinions like he changes underwear. The mentality of thinking every character request has to be the most popular mainstream video game character is so lame because Smash is such a good gateway into getting into new series. And don't get me started on the people saying DLC should be only third-party characters in the Nintendo fighting game. I don't think I've ever heard anybody say this last part, that they should only be third-party people. I think especially towards the end of the game, it's like all we could realistically ask for. I think it's like cooler than getting like Waluigi or Goomba. I would rather have Dante from Devil May Cry because he's way cooler than all of the stuff that they've put in here at this point. Like what is the next most iconic character that Nintendo can add into this game? And if you say Waluigi, then that is sad. Smash is actually what got me to Fire Emblem. That's fantastic. I love to hear that. That makes sense too, because they did a good job at representing them. Mockrock proposed the idea of projectile and invincible moves years ago, and I haven't stopped thinking about how cool and just that would be. Cool and just. Imagine a world where Onslaught is oh, he just wants to buff the Mii's. God damn it. Projectile invincible moves would definitely be interesting, but also more end lag on those projectiles would be interesting. What if we just balance that out just in the most straightforward way possible, where projectiles like Young Link Boomerang aren't safe point blank? Maybe that's the problem. I feel like they had the right idea with some projectiles. Like like Peach's turnip, for example. The longer it's out, the stronger it gets. So we lost the plot somewhere in there. Wait, this is actually spinning. Wait, I think parrying is actually a way worse mechanic than power shielding. All parrying did was make sword characters bad, while buffing majority of zoners and made it so you could just throw out multi-hit moves brainlessly. That's true. There was a lot of times in Smash 4 where I would accidentally power shield a multi-hit and then I'd be like, ooh, just put my shield back up. Which kind of still happens in this game, but there's also times where there's not enough time to put your shield back up and then you just get hit. I think there are arguments for and against power shielding and parrying. Parrying visually looks cooler and execution-wise is kind of more fun, but power shielding also sounds cooler. Just the word power shielding. If I'm charging a smash attack on someone's shield, and they let go at the lucky time, they just parry it. No shield damage. Oh, as a Duck Hunt player, not being able to ledge snap is maybe the most detrimental blow to a character's viability. I see what you're saying, but I feel like that applies to so few characters. Cloud, well, Cloud's good. Mac is like, Bayo not being able to snap ledges is just not a problem. I don't know. I kind of agree. I kind of disagree. I would need a little bit more convincing on that first point. The biggest flaw in the game's design competitively is the excess in invulnerability on ledge / get up. So that's kind of like a problem that you might have with like the entire series at that point, which sure. But I don't think that ledge is the problem. I think it's the fact that like rolls and like spot dodges don't actually stale like they said they do. Remember when I first heard that they were like making staling a thing for like invincibility stuff, that like it would get good, and then it just wasn't. It was just irrelevant. It never mattered. And then if Aegis is high tier with a trash recovery, then Dr. Mario is at least mid tier. Okay, well Aegis doesn't have a trash recovery, so moving on. Shield break moves should not exist. Shield breaks are meant to punish people for excessive shielding. There shouldn't be moves that just net a free kill for hitting an almost full shield. I agree. Actually, that's a good point. Well, I don't know. I think it creates a little bit more interesting dynamic for some characters, but it can be a little egregious at times. I wish they were just like a little bit weaker. I think the most damage a move should do on your shield is like half of your shield health. I don't think they're talking about like Bowser down B or like Yoshi down B, for example, moves that you can just simply react to and roll and punish them if they do. I think if you're complaining about Bowser down B and Yoshi down B breaking your shield, then you have bigger problems in the world, especially because like there's so much startup and an audio noise for it. The one that does piss me off though is Mii Brawler's header, the down B, the headbutt. There's no audio cue for that, and you just pop your shield. I'm like, that's cringe. SDI is the worst part about this game as a whole. It definitely sucks. Any mash mechanic is stupid. SDI, dumb. Mashing out of grabs, dumb. Mashing out of berries, dumb. Berries probably shouldn't even be in Smash, to be completely honest. I don't know why they decided that was a thing. They can just do away with it, and I think it's fine. I like SDI, bad opinion. Stop liking it. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, leave some bad takes on your own in the comments. Subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.